For some reason, our society today has created this cookie-cutter definition of what life should be and what constitutes success. Looking back a couple hundred years, we see a much different way of life and a completely upside-down functioning society. Then, humans' only goal was to simply survive. Today, most of our basic needs to survive are met for a reasonable amount of money, and we have seen a shift in priorities for how we spend our time. Chair, but pretend you're going to, and don't look at me. Looking at our world in full, we see numerous attempts to help push life along, like jobs, sports, and possessions. At the end of the day, our accomplishments basically mean nothing. No one will be remembered as the valedictorian of the class, and no one will be remembered as the top position of a company. Instead, they'll be remembered by the actions that they take and the way that they make people feel, for good or for bad. Accomplishments create social validation, but social validation doesn't even matter. I think today our society places too much of an emphasis on accomplishments that mean absolutely nothing. No matter what, one perennial truth is that you will die. The phrase memento mori translates roughly to remember to, you must die in English. Center. Sometimes successful people get in this cycle of setting goal after goal. You get a glimpse of happiness every time you reach a new milestone, but they learn as they get older is that each time you reach a new one, they just set another goal that doesn't lead to freedom, and they reflect on life and realize that none of it actually made them happy. If you think this sounds familiar, it's because this is from an NF song, but there's valuable info in it. We get stuck in this cycle day after day, striving for our goals. And as we reach a new goal, we set the bar even higher and continue striving for new goals. Success is defined uniquely for everyone. Most people consider success a certain job or how far they advance in life. But I think that success should be applied to happiness as well. As I look over the edge of the building onto the streets, I can't help but thinking of a little ant farm. Everyone's stuck on their own path and avoids personal interaction. You watch ants do their thing, carrying materials and whatnot, and we see them as so primitive. But I think that humans are more like this ant farm than we realize. You wait in line at McDonald's standing right next to other people, but you'll do anything to avoid any social interaction. There's nothing personal about it. We're all just ants, following our own aspirations and fulfilling our duties. A healthy man wants 1,000 things. A sick man only wants one. If you've never heard that quote, I'm sure I just blew your mind because Confucius really dropped the mic on that one. It shows us how much we truly take advantage of in life and how much of an emphasis we place on worthless things. The point of this quote isn't to get you to become a health nut so that you can live longer. Rather, its goal is to help you reconsider your priorities. What do you really want to do with your life? Is it to watch Netflix, play games, and goof off all the time? If it is, then great, get doing those things. But if not, then you might need to get your priorities straight. Recently, I've tried to crack the code on how we can enjoy life a little bit more, even if we aren't doing things that we truly want to do. And I think I found the answer when I was on a walk one day. I saw these people working on someone's roof. They were re-shingling the house. What struck me was the fact that all the workers were laughing while they were doing their job. Now, this was a hot and sunny day, and they're standing on a 45-degree incline roofing a house. There's pretty much nothing fun about that. But these people were blasting music, cracking jokes, and laughing the entire time. It looked just like it was play to them. They might not have enjoyed the work that they were doing, but it was obvious that they enjoyed each other's presence, and that's what made the difference. I think this is the key. Even if you hate the job you're doing, there's always a way that you can make it just a little bit more enjoyable. Now, I'm not saying that you have to become best friends with your coworkers, but I do encourage you to get creative with the work that you do, whether that be at your job or just random chores around the house. and see if you can change it up just a little bit so that you enjoy it a little bit more. This is a win-win because not only are you getting work done, but you're also eager to do the work because you know that you'll be productive and you'll enjoy it. This video in particular was kind of hard to film because the whole point of the video was to film it at night. But I recorded it with a friend and it didn't even feel like we were doing work since we were having fun doing it together. It's just cool to see that you can kind of manipulate the work that you're doing to make it seem easier while still being productive. Another time that I experienced this was going to Washington, D.C. Now, I've been to Washington, D.C. twice, and one of the times was completely different than the other. Both trips we went with my school and toured around the city. On one trip, I was going with my friends, and the other, I basically knew no one going into it. So I met some people and got closer to them, but they definitely weren't the type of people that I would typically hang out with. On the first trip, the one that my friends went on, I had a completely different experience. On both trips, we did practically the same thing, like toured around the city and ate at some fun places. But the one that my friends went on was exponentially more fun than the other trip. Now, at the time, I didn't really know the idea of making your own fun out of the situation, but reflecting on it, it really shows that fun doesn't always come naturally. You can make your own fun out of any situation, or at least make it a little bit more enjoyable. The language of play is something that kids are very fluent in. As kids, you're always trying to foster the situation into something that you can make fun out of. As adults, you get less of a chance to practice the language of play. But as the roofers so beautifully demonstrated, play is a language that you never ever forget. Turn it